Hey guys, so I wanted to start this live stream and kind of tell y'all where I'm at in the markets right now. Um, it's the first live stream, so it's gonna be a little different, but used to doing the videos and having that ready to go. But basically, we're starting to take off in the markets again, so I'm pretty excited about that. We're seeing Dogecoin for the past week up like 22%, so things are looking pretty good with it. So we're watching XRP climb up, and with XRP coming up, we are also seeing, uh, H bars tagging along. We could be in the beginning. We watched Bitcoin hit 111,000 today. We're out here in the shop today, and been working out here getting some stuff ready, working on some small engine stuff while we're watching the markets on the TV up here and following everything. But if you're looking to get in, to the markets, we're seeing things picking up. We're watching certainty come back into the market with things going on in the governments and trade and the politics of everything, and how the Federal Reserve interest rates are starting to correlate with a lot of these trade deals and the tariffs being put out. But now the initial shock is starting to wear off over the past 3 months. So now we're starting to look at, you know, what does the next 3 months look like? What are the rates going to be like? And I don't expect there to be like a lot of change in the rates. Um, and just because, why would there be? Powell isn't planning on doing anything till after the first of the year, and you know, for whatever reasons there are, he could be politically motivated or not. It doesn't really matter. It's it affects us and it affects the markets. It affects your money. If you've had extra money to buy during this dip, that's where you want to be at. If you're not and you're just holding strong, uh, it's not a bad place to be either. I mean, it hadn't taken a huge dip for crypto in the past 3 months. I mean, we're talking about like 25%, which is nothing as far as crypto is concerned. Now we're starting to watch stocks act like crypto. So ultimately, we're seeing markets get very volatile, very turbulent. Of course, that's going to happen when the world starts getting shook up, and however you believe or feel in that, and whatever America's done and taking tax money and sending to other countries and whatever they're doing with it, that's everybody's personal belief. And all I know is, they sure take a lot of tax money from us, and there's a lot of countries out here that take about the same amount of money, and they have free health care and fruit on the streets. There's just all kinds of stuff. You have to look around and really start looking at these videos in other countries and what they're doing, and how are we being left so far behind, and the structures and the cities and the buildings that we build. And we're watching Dubai come up. We're watching India, Africa. There's some major cities over there that we just don't see on the news, so we don't think about it. We still think 1980s, 70s kind of views of things, and early 90s, whatever. But these other countries are out developing us, America, as a whole. Their train systems and all of that. So what does that mean? I mean, it means that we got to play catch up here, and we've got to take advantage of emerging markets to put ourselves back in front of these countries. And crypto is obviously the hot market. Every government's talking about it, adopting it. Companies are adopting it. Uh, Payment processors are moving into it, and it's the next big thing as far as a industrial revolution, internet revolution. The different things we've seen technologically coming along. It's getting faster and faster. How long from the Industrial Revolution to, the internet and those things, and how fast now it's progressing to Web3, cryptocurrencies now. Back in the 90s, you couldn't, if you didn't know somebody or pay a broker, you couldn't even get in the stock market. Now, all of a sudden, if you got $10, download Robinhood, you good to go. So it's something to think about. Keep in mind that, as technology is getting faster, the value of this stuff is obviously going to go up. If you'd have bought Apple in 1989 or 1992 or anywhere before 95, where would you be? If you'd have held it, or even if you'd have sold it and traded it, you'd still be making a ton of money. So, but the facts are getting in the game, getting skin in the game. Because if you're not invested in the game, then how can you even be playing? You're not setting yourself up for success. Um, but I like to talk about XRP because XRP is going to be a transformative cryptocurrency. And not just in value as far as cross border payments, using it for other payments, but the technology side of it as far as messaging remittance that goes along with every individual payment, and the speed and the cost, and what they're competing against. It's been the status quo, right? So, that status quo is getting replaced, and somewhat quietly, kind of like all big revolutions and technological advances happen. Only, certain people who get rich, and usually it's the rich. It's the first time with crypto that retail has caught government with their pants down and got in before them. And there's really nothing they can do about it. It's not really like a ton of people in retail. I mean, it's really not. You're talking about less than a million people probably in the United States, maybe a million, that are in this and actually pay attention. Um, so it's not like their government's like, oh, we can't let them get rich. That's not how that works at all. Most people are going to blow it anyway within the first year. So of course the government don't give a crap what happens because they're going to get the money right back. So that's definitely not the mindset you want to be going with and thinking about it. You want to definitely be thinking about 6 months down the road. If you go back 2021, we had that blow off top that was incredible for crypto. A lot of people just started learning about crypto and got into it, and millionaires were made on Dogecoin, and I'm one of them who made a lot of money on Dogecoin. And thankfully, I just took a chance. I had an extra $500 laying around, said we're going to put it in this whatever this crazy thing is. Well, then Elon got involved, and Dogecoin went from below a penny to 78 cents. And a lot, if you really were paying attention, you knew a little bit about charts or just reading, social media. About 75 cents is when we started seeing, okay, it's time to get out. Sell volume starting to pick up. So that was a nice ride, and it all happened inside of like 3 days. So that's how fast this stuff happens. And I mean, if you're watching it right now, you watched Dogecoin yesterday, and almost all the cryptos wipe out 3 months worth of going down, worth of losses. So if we're looking at 3 months worth of losses getting wiped out in one day, and then you seen what happened back in November and December with the way it all skyrocketed. I mean, XRP went from 50 cents to $3 extremely fast. So um, I'm still a buyer at $2. So it's just one of them things where it's going to happen, and we're all going to really make a lot of money if you got into the game early. And right now, it's still very early. Where do I see XRP going? Who knows? I mean, I'm not selling it below 1,000 or maybe even more. It depends on the strength of what happens in the climb. Um, there is always a sell number, and you should have one too to get out. So, don't buy something thinking you're going to hold it forever. because that's not the way to do it by any means. Um, you need to trade the markets, trade the sentiment, pay attention to these social media platforms, even stock twits. I read that. So definitely check that out. And be looking at XRP. H bar is still, below 50 cents a coin. I mean, that's the Hedera network has some incredible technology coming in behind it. And you should definitely check out H bar because it is easy to get in cheap and it's unlimited. It's like XRP, it's an unlimited opportunity. So y'all check all that out. We're gonna start live streaming. This is like I said, my first live stream, so I'm still getting used to it. We're kind of just set up in the shop here, and I said, well, let's just go for it. Let's go with a live stream, see how it does. So I hope this helps some of y'all, and if it does, great. If it don't, I understand. Definitely do your due diligence. This ain't financial advice. It's just how I see it happening. Um, so 6 months from now, we should all be looking really well and making some really good money. Y'all have an amazing night. Thank y'all.